Hello there, everyone. TheAndrata here, and welcome back to episode 75 of our Enigmatica 6 Expert Let's Play series, where today we are getting refined storage set up. Finally, some good storage. I feel like this is going to make the pack. We're going to be able to start accelerating through and getting auto crafting, and oh my gosh, make things so much easier for myself. Let's get started. Welcome back, my friends. Another wonderful day here in the world of TheAndrata, where our iron golem is being an absolute complete dingus here. He's literally just standing here and allowing himself to get hit by these axes. And then he's like, I'm going to beat you up. You hurt me. I'm going to beat you up. And then nothing happens. So we're going to go ahead and move him. As you can see, I got my quest complete for a soul gem. Apparently new quest. Let's get you out of here, buddy. Let's get you somewhere safe before you end up killing yourself over there just standing around being dumb. Something's broken over here. I just realized this because I'm picking up all of this stuff. So what happened here is, one of our chutes got replaced again. I really need to figure this problem out because it's quite frustrating. But hey, it is what it is. I could just move everything. Honestly, I could move it all over and it would not be an issue, but that would require me to actually do some work, and I just don't want to do any work. Who wants to work? I could even set up a vacuumulator and have a vacuumulator pick all this stuff up and then pipe it underground, and then I wouldn't have to worry about this at all. We would eliminate the portable storage interface. All the items would just dump into the world and then get picked up automatically. It is an option. Maybe. As it stands now, though, I'm just going to shove all this stuff into my system and not deal with it because there's a bunch of it going into the system right now anyway. And yeah, not my problem. Well, okay. Yes, I lied. It is my problem. But it's also at the same time not my problem. Okay, cool. Anyway, so what are we going to work on today? Well, first things we're going to do is turn on our map. I really need to remember this config. I don't have anything to write this down with. So yeah, next episode, we're probably going to end up turning this thing on again anyway. Yeah, that's basically where we're at with that. Today, we're going to continue working on what we were starting last episode, which is refined storage. In between episodes, I went ahead and did a little bit of micro crafting that we're going to have to do for this. Some of it, not all of it, but a good chunk of it. So that way you guys don't have to sit around and watch me let me just drag these things here and stuff. So, we're going to be doing pretty good here with this. So let's get started. So if we take a look inside of our backpack, yeah. We have a whole bunch of stuff, okay? So I went ahead and made a bunch of stuff. So we ended the episode with me working on the Enderium coins. I went ahead and got myself some Enderium. I think I used all of it, or I have a little bit left, actually, I think. I used what I needed, and then I let the rest continue cooking here. So I think that there's still some more Enderium in here. Yes, so we can go ahead and place that back in there. But I went ahead and I made Enderium coins. And then I was like, okay, well, you know what? We're going to be making the we're going to be making the diamond version or the raw advanced processor. I might as well make the other two while I'm at it because we're going to need them like 100%. They're part of the crafting process for all this. So there's no point in me just making these ones. Let's go ahead and make the other ones too. So I went ahead and got the stuff. I had to go make some more flux dust, but you guys know it's easy. Redstone, obsidian, bedrock, bam. For this, we required Lumium coins, which I had I happen to have like 40 some odd Lumium or 100 and something Lumium. So now we have 20 left and a couple extra coins. And then for the basic ones, we need flux dust and we need tin coins, which again, fairly easy to all make all of this stuff. Now I'm going to go ahead and make 32 of each except for the basic ones, because the basic ones are used for a couple of our other crafts that we're going to be doing here. So I just decided we'll make 64 of them. We'll have enough to go. I meant to actually do this in between episodes, but I completely forgot to throw all this in here. So that's okay. We'll just, I'll pop it all in here. We'll see where we end up. And if we have to cut, we'll cut. But let me go ahead and let's start with the Enderium ones, because that's where we need for the controller. And honestly, I have no idea how much this can hold. So let's split this up because I don't want it to end up like not being able to take all of the items in there because we ended up, putting too much in and it can't handle it. And so then it doesn't put any of it in. So we'll wait for all of this to tick over slowly but surely. faster now, though. And then we can put the second batch in, and maybe it'll hold it all. Yeah, we should be okay. And look at that, we got advanced processors going. So I'm going to go ahead, I'll get all these cooked up, and then we will come back. And bada bing, bada boom, what do you know? We have all of our processors going. Being able to tick accelerate everything makes it much easier. And we're sitting at 3.26 bar. I really need to get, this going. I need to get this cooking. I ran out of oil. So yeah, we need to get that taken care of. But for now, we're okay. We're not going to use this for a little bit. We'll come back. We really just need to figure out, automated everything. But we'll get there when we get there. Okay, it's coming. It's coming. So what we need to do is then take these with our numismatic die and go ahead and cook them up. So I'm going to go ahead and cook up about half of these, and then we'll allow the others to go through. That way I have some to work with, but we don't have to sit here and watch this thing do its process. Before we collect anything here, though, let's go ahead and go to our refined storage section and make sure, okay, so that is our quest process. We need to pick all these things up. That's what I wanted to see. That way I make sure that I'm getting quest rewards for all of this. Yeah, basically that's where we're at. If I set this to auto import and export, it's not going to pull. Yeah, it won't pull the dies, and it's not going to push the die. So what I can do is actually add these extras. Oh, except I didn't want to do that. I can add the extras into this, and then it'll automatically push and pull for me. And then I can grab the, ones that we need. So that's you. And I should complete that quest. And I'll just wait until I get 32 of these. Bam. And then we can push those in there. And now it'll automatically push everything into this. We could even move our molds down to here. Yeah. And one thing I did forget to do is set my backpack up. Oh, it was also mentioned that we can cook our everlasting beef and make an everlasting steak. Bam. And now we have everlasting steak, or I'm sorry, eternal steak. So if we put this in here and we replace this, now we get even better saturation and health and stamina. Yeah, and we don't have to worry about it. Cool. Okay, so with those things made, that now allows us to make everything else that I was looking to make here. So basically, what do we need to do? Well, first thing first, we need to get ourselves a controller. And in order to make the controller, we have to do a mechanical craft, and we're going to require 8 of these advanced processors. So we have that, and that is going to be this section here. So let's go ahead and pop over to our factory and get this thing set up. Now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. I only have 21 crafters. At create. Do I have any extra in here? I had to make even more, but I think I only have 1 extra. Yeah. All right, so I said what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. 22, 23, 24, 25. Well, we're going to borrow from here, at least for this craft right now. And then I need to, I'm going to have to pillar up. Just to place these down. Really? Something like that. Actually, I think it does need to be squarular too, doesn't it? Man, why you got to do that to me? It's really going to make me rearrange this whole thing just for this one craft. It's going to require me to, first off, get rid of my button. And I'm going to have to get rid of you. I'm not moving my power. So I'm going to have to move these over here. And then we're going to have to set this up like so. There. Now we have a square craft. And now I got to fix the things. Nope, 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 nope. Yep. And yep. Out. Okay, there we go. And now everything has power, whatever. Jerk, but it's okay. All right, so let's get all our stuff out of our backpack so we can set this up properly. So let's see. I wish there was an easy way to fill this in, but there's not. So we're just going to do it manually. So it's all the corners in the middle is these. And then this is going to go here. Okay. Then we have our machine casing in the center. Slime steel here and here. Logic units on the side. Quartz elsewhere. And there we go. Now it should craft up, and I'm going to have to fix my mechanical crafters, but I'll worry about that. That's fine. We'll do that in between episodes. I'll come back and fix this. I do need to grab the 4. I also don't want you to be filling up with RF. I need to grab the 4 that I borrowed for this craft, because we're going to need them for our crafters that we're going to set up. Yes, I'm planning on doing auto crafting, of course, so I have prepped for crafters. So with all that being said, we now have ourselves a controller for refined storage, which is the beginnings of our refined storage journey. Ultimately, it's going to come up here, and we're going to have our crafting grid sit here for us, and our pattern grid and everything here. So eventually we'll cable this out, but I just kind of want to see whereabouts does that need to sit. Kind of sort of smack dab right in the middle of this wall is where everything is going to end up going, which is kind of in the way of everything else we have. So yay us. But that's okay. We'll continue working as we go. So that was our controller. That's the brains of the operation, the most important piece. Without it, you can't do anything in refined storage. No, you can't do anything. Literally not one thing without the controller. So we're going to get rid of that off our to-do list, and then we're going to start working on our other stuff. So what do we need? Well, I have planned out here for a grid and a pattern grid. So we're going to go ahead and pop upstairs, and we're going to make those. Now, the grids are how we access our storage, or access things inside of refined storage. It's the interface to the storage. So I have all the stuff basically that we're going to need for this. So we're going to need to go ahead and craft 2 grids. And in order to craft the grids, we need this stuff. And we're going to need destruction cores and construction cores, which is what I have sitting here. Now, these require basic processors to make. So we're going to grab all of this stuff, and we're just going to hop on over to our crafting table and make ourselves some construction cores. This uses Enigmatica. Okay. Didn't realize that. How are we doing on our pressure then? If that's the case, we should be okay. Let's split this and this. So we're going to do this, this, and this. And then we're going to tick accelerate it. And then we're going to come over on this side and tick accelerate as well. All the tick acceleratings. So that should be those, and then those. Look how fast it all goes now. Bam. That's what happens when you 8x everything. Who needs speed upgrades when you can just tick accelerate the world? Bam. There's our cores. Now, I do want to check my quests and make sure that we're doing things properly, because I don't want to use all this stuff and then not get rewards for it. Because again, what do we like? Rewards. So we're going to pop on home. Pop over here, and we're going to make our cables real quick, and we're going to kind of sort of deviate just a little bit. Cables, this is our cables. Super simple. I decided to make a bunch of stacks of it, basically all that we could. No, that's not cables. I'm sorry, that's patterns. Well, since I grabbed the stuff, we might as well make the patterns. Patterns are used to do auto crafting, so we can just go ahead and shift click that, and that's going to make us 16 patterns. Great. Cables is going to be this recipe here. Now, there are 2 recipes for cables, as you can see here. You can either go with integrated dynamics and use logic cables, or you can go with pretty pipes and use pretty pipes. The logic cables do require you to have mineral and destabilize redstone, and then a pretty pipe. So you're still going to end up using pretty pipes for this. You're just going to save yourself on 2 quartz enriched iron. And ultimately, this is the cheaper recipe, I believe. Because if we look at this, you're still going to have to use a pipe. I guess this is going to use tin instead of iron. But, like, yeah. This is a better recipe, I would think. At least for my case, this is better. Maybe for you, you already have logic cables set up, so this works for you. But we've been using pretty pipes, everything. So this is the recipe route I went. So let's go ahead and grab that stuff. We're going to make our cables, and that should get us 2 stacks, which is what I planned for, just so that we had it and I didn't have to worry about, where's all my cabling going to come from. And that should finish off this quest. So now we have other stuff. Okay, so we have our grid, which is that way, and then our external storage, which is what we're working towards too. Cool? Cool. Okay. So now that we have that going and we have our processors, we can go ahead and remove cables from our to-do list, and we are crafting up a grid. And so, like I said, the grid is improved processors, quartz enriched iron, those machine casings that we made. It's a good thing we made extra. So that is this section here. So we're going to graph 2 grids, and that should be enough to get 2 of these guys. And then we're going to convert each one of these over, one to a pattern grid and then one over to a crafting grid. So the crafting grid is super simple, just requires a crafting table. So let's go ahead and grab a crafting table. Bam. And then the pattern grid just requires a pattern and one of those advanced processors that, remember, we already made a couple extra. So nothing too crazy go on here. There's a crafting grid and then a pattern grid. And that's a couple extra quests plus patterns. Bam. So there's that and there's that. And then the last thing that we need to make is an external storage or two. Two for now. Yeah. So let's do that. External storage. So let's grab, I need to get connectors. I thought I had some XNet connectors. Well, apparently I don't have any connectors. So let's go ahead and get a blue connector, which should be doable, except for the fact that I don't have no hoppas. But we can solve that. And I guess I'm going to use my blazing archwood for this because it had the most of it. That's okay, though. I'm not going to cry about it. External storage is going to be this. And I want two of those. So let's do two. Bam. We're going to use one to connect to our occultism storage and then one to connect to our eventual drawer controller that we're going to have with all of our stuff. But I wanted to get all of this set up before I moved any of that stuff into our into our basement. I rearranged because it's going to be a mess. It's going to take me a while to do. So I'm just going to, I wanted to get all the infrastructure there so that way in between episodes I can work on it. And then lastly, what I'm going to want is a couple crafters, which we have all of the stuff for. Crafters are kind of a pain because they require those machine casings for each one. So we're going to have to, it's going to require a lot of pneumatic craft, pressure chambers and all that stuff, but we'll get there and we'll get it going. I'm thinking about it. It's going to be very fun, but I'm going to have to run a refined storage cable from here all the way over to our base. Thank goodness this isn't applied energistics in which I have to manage channels and everything, because that would be a massive pain running from here over to there. And honestly, actually, I should be setting all this up over here, shouldn't I? Because this is home. This is technically our new home. All right, I'm going to have to figure that out within the next 2 minutes before we start actually doing this setup. But anyway, let's get ourselves some crafters. Two of these. Bam. And that's going to basically use most of the stuff that we had. All of these construction cores. Our advanced processors is where everything was at. But I have a couple extra in here. That's why I made more. So that way, when the time came, we had extra and I don't have to worry about crafting even more of them. And that is our crafters. So that is the basics of refined storage. This is, without using disks, this is everything you would need to set refined storage up. Now, one thing that I do think I want to do, because I am correct in my assessment, this is now going to be that's going to be home. We need to set this up here because that's where, eventually I'm going to start building everything out of the wizard tower and we're going to move out of our house here. I was basically waiting on refined storage to be able to do so. And now we have it. So I need to go ahead and start working on that. So what do I need to do for that? Well, I need another entangled block so I can get our power up there. Tell me I can make this. What am I missing? The red string containers. Tell me I can make two of these. Yes. And I'm just missing the master corporeal spark, which I have some god shards. Bam. Okay. Cool. There we go. So I need to get my entangler if I can find it. Hello, Mr. Entangler. Entangled binder. There he is. Thank goodness we can search because I did not see that at all. 100%. Now, what are you bound to? You're already bound to our power, so that's good. We can pop up to our wizard tower, and then I'm going to end up having to move this because we want this to be, centered. So wizard tower, you're going to go away. We'll put you back in a moment. So what do we need to do for this? Well, we need to get everything set up. We need to get our controller set up here. We need to get our entangled block. Now, I want my grid to face right here. We're going to end up having to move this feral flare lantern. We can move the feral flare lantern to here. Hide that away. And then what went here? Polished andesite. Is that correct? Looks fine. Now I don't have to see the feral flare lantern. So right here is where I'm going to want my crafting grid. And is this the direction I want everything to face? Or do I want to have everything face north? Yes, that way I can access all of my stuff from here without having to turn around. Okay, so let's get our entangled block here. We're going to go ahead and bind it. So now it has, it's bound. We can grab our controller out of this and we can put the controller here. And then it should start getting power. Because this is set to receive/extract. It is not getting power though. So I'm going to have to actually set up pipes. Okay, so this is not doing what I hoped it would do. That's okay. We're going to have to set this here. I'm going to put this away so that it quits draining from my thing. We're going to grab a basic. Yeah, we're going to have to do a basic universal cable. This is not going to work long term though, this cable, because, well, it's just not. There. Now you have power. And we can set our controller back up. If I remember where I put it. Controller can go here, and now it should be getting power, yes. Yeah, like I said, this isn't going to work long term because this is already using 256. That cable can only hold 3000 RF. So, transfer 3000 RF. We're going to have an issue in the future when it comes to the crafting of, the making of things because of that limitation. But for now, we'll be okay. Yeah. Just trying to think, do I want to rearrange this? Do I want this maybe coming out of the roof? I'm going to have to access the controller for a lot of things. Basic cables coming off of this. And since I put that on the bottom, I'm not going to be able to access. I kind of sort of want this controller to go down. Yeah. Let me rearrange this a little bit more. Because if I'm thinking, it's hard to do, but I am thinking. And you've already drained my battery, didn't you? Yep. All right, whatever. Okay, so if we take our universal cable and I put this here, and then I set it to extract. Okay. And I put my controller here. Bam. He's getting power. Now I can access the sides of this to run off to these little platforms and stuff. Yeah, that's what I wanted to see happen. Okay. And then I need to get a cable. Bam, bam. Then we can get our crafting grid. Normally I would have like a disk drive sitting here, but since we're not using disk drives, I don't have that. And then our pattern grid can go ahead and sit up top. Sure. There we go. Okay, and that's refined storage. That's it, basically. We have a setup complete here for something super duper bare bones. Let me go ahead and put my travel anchor back. This is going to be Wizard Tower. Apparently, the TheAndrata has a polished andesite. I don't know what the heck that is. I hit a button that put that in the chat, I guess. Anyway, so there's Wizard Tower, bam. And then we have refined storage. Now we need access to all of our stuff, right? We need access to our occultism, and that's where these external storages are going to come from. This is going to be how we access everything. So what I want to do is, what's my best way to do this? I could have the external storage sit off of the back here, and then have the occultism thing sit. Like if I were to put this polished andesite, oh, you're a trapdoor. If I put this here, nah, I don't like the look of that. I would want this hidden. What if we do this? Nope, because then that's gonna be visible. Well, for demonstration purposes, let me just put this down. That way you guys can see what this is going to look like, because I'm having a hard time deciding what I want to do here. So we're just going to set this up temporarily. I'll fix it later once I get everything set up in between episodes. Okay, so external storage. Apparently, external storage takes up a full block space. So we are going to set this up, say, here with the stable wormhole here and the external storage here. There we go. Now it's pointing into this, even though it doesn't look like it. It is. And yeah, actually, we should be able to see all of our stuff. Yeah, there we go. Bam. What we want to do, though, is set the priority on this. We're going to set the priority on this to 10. This is the high priority. Eventually, once we get like our drawer system set up, we would set our drawer system to have a higher priority. It honestly, actually, now that I think about it, this doesn't matter because we don't have disks. So everything is going to go into our stable wormhole. We have no disks set up, so we don't have to worry about things going into the wrong spot. I do not like this cable here. It just does not look good to me. So we're just going to go ahead and put this here instead, and now I don't got to worry about it, and we can go ahead and fill this gap in, and look, there we go. Everything looks nice and neat, clean, beautiful, perfect, bada bing, bada boom. So that is the beginnings of refined storage. And like I said, we have our crafting grid here now, which allows us to do my sorting like I want, which is by quantity descending. So now I can see all the stuff that's inside our thing, and I don't have to worry about this thing. So now this is basically just going to act as a backpack or quick crafts when I'm out. And this can be JEI synchronized. And yeah, that's basically where we're at. And if we take a look at our controller, we can see with just this setup, we're using 549 RF per tick. And this is literally nothing. Like there's nothing attached to this. What's using the most are grids, 128 per. External storage is using 32, and each cable is using 5 RF. Basically, one of our one whole solar panel is being dedicated to running this super simple setup, the super light, simple setup. Refined storage uses a lot of power, basically, is what we're getting at. And the more that you set up with this, once we get our crafters set up and once we start putting patterns in there, the more power it's going to use, even beyond this. But there we go. We have our setup here. We have our crafting grid. We have a pattern grid, so we can start working on getting auto crafting set up once I actually plug our crafters in. Yeah, and that's what I want. JEI synchronized two-way. And we can start setting up patterns and getting crafters set up. Just curious, how much, if I were to set up a crafter, let's break this. Just by having that attached, you use 64 RF. And then if we put a pattern in there, so like for example, so auto crafting refined storage uses patterns similar to applied energistics. So if I were to say I want a pattern for patterns, that's usually the first pattern that I use or that I create. Yeah, we'll do exact. I just want to use glass. So I'm going to create a pattern for patterns. So we're going to do this. And then if I put this in here, each pattern is going to make it use more. Yep, exactly what I thought. Now we're using 80 RF ticks. So that means each pattern costs 16 RF. So just something to keep in mind. You can burn through stuff. But if we say, hey, I need patterns, I can craft those and it'll auto craft the patterns for me. I don't have to do the actual work, but we'll set up auto crafting as time comes and do the thing that we want to do with that. It's going to require a lot more in this pack. We're going to be doing a lot of external crafting with all of our machines and all that stuff, but we have the capabilities now. So now what I need to do, basically, still same process. I need to get cables run. So I'm going to have to make some more cables because we're going to want to automate things in our factory. Now, and that ate the everlasting beef, didn't it? Not my Oreo. It did. Or I'm sorry, the eternal steak is what it ate, not my Oreo. I guess that's okay. Keep us full on this. And then, I mean, I eat the Oreos for the buffs, but for the most part, we're okay. I mean, it's an infinite food source. Anyway, so I need to get refined storage set up over there. Probably the easiest way to do that, now that I think about it, is to just get more entangled blocks. I can bind this with an entangled block and then bring it over there and have a controller, quote unquote, a controller set up in here so that I have access to all my refined storage throughout here. And then same thing at our home base. Yeah, I think that's probably going to be the easiest way. And then that actually honestly gets me wireless, quote unquote, refined storage without having to actually do it the proper way, which is with the entangle or the, what are these called? Where are they? Network receiver and network transmitter. Normally, this only requires netherite, but this is going to require Eternium, some kind of crazy looking CPU core, which is that's honestly not too difficult to do. Yeah, that's not too difficult. What was that? The receiver, a matter receiver, endearing gear. Honestly, it's not terribly difficult to make. That just requires stable wormholes, a lot of micro crafting and stuff, but not hard. I imagine this is going to use buku power, though. That is for sure. This is going to be crazy amounts of power. Also, a wireless crafting grid would be nice. What do you cost? You are actually pretty cheap. This requires another crafting grid, advanced processor. And then what about our wireless transmitter? And then what about range upgrades? Yeah, okay. These are all actually pretty cheap. This is for wireless crafting with our setup, and we're going to go ahead and get that set up. Not this episode, though. We're about out of time. Before we end the episode, though, I do want to see, can I make a drawer controller? Do I have the stuff I need for this? Can I make 2 of these? No. Can I make 2 of these? No. Can I make these? Yeah. Okay. I just want to get a drawer controller going so that I can start working on this stuff in between episodes and getting our drawer set up. I should teach auto crafting for all this stuff. But remember, so the way that auto crafting is going to work, for each time I have to press R here, I have to teach the system how to make a recipe. So for all of these things, like I'm going down into here, that was just to make these smart chests. That's about 8 recipes that are required to go into our crafter. So it's a little bit of a challenge. That's for sure. I'm going to need 4 of these actually, aren't I? And I just have 4. Perfect. And then I can do 2 of you. And then I just need these logic units. Treated wood planks. Do I have any oil? Creosote oil? Oh man, I do have creosote oil. I'm pretty sure I accounted to not use these. This was going to be our extra. I hope so. Otherwise, we're going to have to end up using this, but it's fine. So if I take this and put this in here, we can make a bunch of this stuff. Yeah, now we have plenty of treated wood planks. So let's go ahead and get another logic unit. Bam. Now we can craft this processor. And now we should be able to craft this once I get some more aluminum sheet metal, which is this. Tell me I have enough. I do. And there we go. Now we have a drawer controller. Whew. Drawer controller makes things so much easier ultimately, because it allows us to connect drawers together and go. So in between episodes, I'm going to work on migrating all of our stuff. We're going to figure out what we're going to do with this mess of a wall, but I'm going to start anotll storage wall. I'll probably honestly tear this down. We'll hold on to all these. I'll put them over here or something so that they're out of the way, and then we'll start working on migrating these over to storage drawers. Most of them will be okay. Upgrades for storage drawers are how much expensive? If we wanted, say, an iron upgrade, which will allow us to hold 8,000 of any one item, not terribly too difficult. We can make that happen fairly simply. It's just these scented sticks, which is just any kind of honeycomb and sticks. And as you know, we've got like tens of thousands of sticks. So we can get up to that one. How about a storage tier 3? Nope. Okay, so we're just going to get storage tier 2s. And that's it. And what about void upgrades? How much are you? Honestly, you're not terribly too expensive either. So we can do some void upgrades as well as needed. Yeah, okay. So for the most part, I mean, most of these are we're going to require the upgrades, because a regular drawer can hold 2,048 of an item. We're going to 4x that up to 16K now. So if we put one of those upgrades, we'll be able to hold 16,000 items. So we'll be, 4x 2,000 is 8,000. So 8,096, I believe, is what the number will end up being. 8,000, yeah, something like that. Whatever. So most of these, except for whatever this is, what is this one? Sandy honeycombs is probably going to be the one that's closest. And then this guy and coal, sooty. But we're going to process these, and that's why I don't want to go too crazy with all that stuff, because we're going to end up processing all these. I want to go ahead and get our centrifuge set up so we can get it all processing automatically. And then we don't have to worry about storing the honeycombs, because they're going to immediately get processed. So yeah, that's where we're at. But I'll go ahead and get drawers set up. Just going to do standard regular drawers, and then maybe some compacting drawers if they're not too expensive. I know I've made them before. Pedestal upgrade. Nope, that was not the right button. Maybe compacting drawers are not going to be viable. So it requires this thing, which requires pixie dust from Botania. So yeah, no compacting drawers, but that's fine. We'll just do regular drawers and we'll be okay with it. Anyway, well, I guess before we do that, let's collect our quests. We have quite a few quests that we've gotten over the past couple episodes, and I just want to make sure that we get everything that we are deserving of, because we are deserving of a lot. We're putting in a lot of work, guys. So we are all deserving of having all the quest rewards. Let's see what we got. I'm just going to go ahead and click the button because we got a bunch of stuff. So let's just click it and see what we end up with. Wow, a bunch of stuff. Okay, so we have iron chunks, redstone chunks, gunpowder, vegetable curry. Ooh, importers. I like those. Silver chunks, nickel, osmium, aluminum, some wither skull fragments, an advanced bin. Not as cool as the bins we've been getting. More cables, quartz enriched iron, straddle jump and insight, flask of fortitude, curse of vanishing phalanx 2, splitting 3, feather falling 5, piercing 4, some advanced processing electron tubes, a book of binding genie, some emerald chunks, and some ender pearls. Nothing too ridiculously crazy or anything, but hey, rewards are rewards, right? That's it for today's episode. So if you enjoyed this quick primer into refined storage, it's not the most in-depth or anything like that, but we're using other mods in conjunction with it, so that's just the way that the cookie crumbles. Anyway, feel free to like, comment, subscribe. I do appreciate it. It really does help out the channel. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Have a good one.